And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. Now, if you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel. We post all of our episodes and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on all major podcasting apps, folks. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways, folks. Alrighty, today is a big old new year. Happy New Year, everybody. The first of 2021. Kind of crazy that we've gotten here. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, so today on the show, we make our official picks. We guessed and reacted to the lines yesterday, slept on them, and we got some good picks here. I am feeling very confident, even though it's Week 17, and, it's always kind of wonky Week 17 because half the teams are playing for something, half the teams are not. 4 teams are tanking for the number 1 seed. Players want to get healthy, all that nonsense. But we picked out the 6 best games, and, we think we're going to be able to hit today. We'll also do our picks for, we've got a couple of big bowl games on. We're only going to do, the college playoffs, the college playoff games. So we'll give you our picks for those as well. And we have to do the playoff machine. This is the last week for it. It's been great. We've been doing it, I think, the last 4 weeks. So it's been great. We've been doing it on Fridays, but today, unfortunately, is going to be the last day that we can do it because it's the last week before the playoffs start. So we've got all that on the show, but first, y'all already know we have to go through a couple of stories. So let's start here. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy told reporters that the team is going to be working virtually today because a player tested positive for COVID-19. Now, this just broke about 25 minutes ago, so we're still not sure on the name, but not good for the Cowboys, who kind of need a win and some help. So, number one priority is getting the win. And, with the COVID positive player, we don't know who it is. Is it going to be, Zeke? Is it going to be Amari Cooper? Some other big name? So, not looking good for the Cowboys here. Alrighty, but things are looking good for the Browns. They had no new positive COVID-19 tests, so now they can reopen their practice, and they will be practicing not virtually, in person today at 1 o'clock, so an hour from now. The Browns will be practicing, getting ready for their must-win game against the Steelers this week. So hopefully everybody's good to go. Hopefully they don't have to kind of miss a key player against the Steelers, but they're kind of good to go now. The outbreak seems to hopefully have broken. Alrighty, but not for the Giants. So, oh my God, the NFC East is getting bolted with COVID here. Giants offensive line coach, he tested positive for COVID-19, so he's not going to be able to coach the offensive line this weekend. That is definitely going to hurt the Giants a little bit because Daniel Jones is a little banged up and can't maneuver the pocket as well as he has been able to, the first 14 weeks of the season before he got injured. So not good here for the Giants. What's his name? Daniel Jones is already banged up a little bit, and now without their offensive line coach, maybe the offensive line takes a slight step back a little bit. Not good here for the Giants. Alrighty, and COVID news continues. It got Ryan Fitzpatrick. He tested positive. Unfortunate. So now Tua can't get bailed out anymore. No more, Hail Marys and face mask penalties advancing the ball like 60 yards in one play. So no more Fitzmagic, at least for Week 17 and most likely Week 1 or, the first round of the playoffs. He may be able to make it back by then, but it'll be real tight, and the Dolphins have to get there first anyway. So truly unfortunate here for the Dolphins. Now, on the plus side of the Dolphins, we have Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant all practicing today, so hopefully they'll be ready to go and help out Tua a little bit because Tua needs a couple of weapons. Alrighty, what else do we got here? More COVID news. Holy cow, big outbreak this week. All right, Rams placed defensive lineman Michael Brockers on COVID-19 list. So once again, this Rams team, no Jared Goff, no Cooper Kupp, now on the defensive end, getting kind of, taken back a little bit as well with the defensive lineman out. So, we still like the Rams this week, even with all that being said, but, they're definitely going to have to, play their hardest game that they ever had to this week to overcome all of these big injuries here for all these big COVID outs for the Rams. Alrighty, more COVID news. The Chargers, Keenan Allen, COVID-19. He's out for this week. Chargers, like we said, nothing to play for this week, but, building that winning culture. And Anthony Lynn's got, 3 straight wins here. So he definitely wants to kind of close out the season on a win. It is kind of a winnable game for them because the Chiefs aren't starting Patrick Mahomes, so you've got a chance. But it's still the Chargers. So, now we get to see how Justin Herbert works without a number one wide receiver because he's had Keenan Allen basically the entire season, and he's been looking real good. So we'll see how Justin Herbert looks this week without his number one wide receiver. And our last story of the day, Packers Pro Bowl left tackle David Bakhtiari suffered a season-ending ACL tear. Holy cow, truly unfortunate. Packers, best team in the NFC. They've got the number 1 seed. They've got the first round bye potentially if they can win this week. But this is definitely going to hurt Aaron Rodgers. The pocket's probably not going to be as clean as it is. He's not going to get 5 full seconds to throw the ball. Probably it's going to go down to like 4.5 seconds. So this definitely is going to affect the Packers a little bit. Aaron Rodgers, he wants to be comfortable, aging quarterback. So he wants all the time in the pocket he has. And, this Packers offensive line is one of the best in the league because we see Aaron Rodgers just having fantastic stats. So they're giving him clean pockets, time to throw, and without this left tackle that they've who's going to the Pro Bowl. So this is not no scrub. He's not, he's been here forever. I mean, I'm sure Packers fans know this man's name by heart. So big injury here for the Packers. Alrighty, now let's switch over to the NBA real quickly. Let's go over what happened yesterday. All right, Cavaliers looking to be sliding a little bit. It looks like they've dropped 2 in a row here. Pacers 4-1. I mean, the Pacers were good in the bubble last season. They just didn't have Domantas Sabonis because he was injured. So he's back this year, and the Pacers are 4-1, and this man is absolutely balling. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and they beat the Pacers they beat the Cavs 119-99. Wizards lose again. Oh my goodness. This is what I'm saying, y'all. Before the season started, we said the Rockets won the trade, and Rockets have 1 win and Wizards have none. So far we are right on that. Russell Westbrook, triple-double, classic Russell Westbrook, but we are going to have to check the turnovers. So Russell Westbrook, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Who wants to guess on the turnovers? He's averaging about 6 a game. So let's see what he's got this game against Chicago that they lost again. Let's see what he's got here. 5 turnovers. Once again, most on the team. And is it most in the game? Most in the game. Most on his team, most in the game. Come on, Russell. 5 turnovers. The second highest was 3. So you chop off 2 turnovers. That's 4 points. And you lose by 3. 4 points minimum. 2 points for a basket. 2 possessions, 4 points. So you lose by 3. You take away those 2 extra turnovers to just kind of be average with everybody else. And the Wizards win by 1 point. Russell Westbrook, come on. I know, but something's got to change. This is the definition of insanity, my man. Come on. Let's try something new. Maybe not give it 125% every game. Let's narrow it down to maybe 104%. But it's not working here, man. And I love you, and I love watching you. You're fantastic. One of the most athletic NBA players of all time. Triple doubles every night, but it's all for naught. They're 0-5. They're not winning games. It didn't work in Houston, and it's not going to work here in Washington, as we're clearly seeing here. So super unfortunate for the Wizards, man. Alrighty, here we go. Let's move on. Magic get their first loss of the season. The 76ers beating them. They're 4-1. Let's look at this 76ers team. Doc Rivers, he got chased out of the Clippers, and now he's coaching the 76ers. We got Embiid with 21 points. Tobias Harris with 20 points. They got Danny Green on the squad. Oh, my goodness. Big mistake there. The Philadelphia 76ers have Danny Green, and this man is once again doing classic Danny Green things. Only 3 points in 18 minutes, and he shot 25% from 3. Classic Danny Green, not being good, but luckily for the 76ers, they won the game. Because they got Seth Curry. Look at this, man. 21 points, 5 of 7 from 3. Fantastic. Danny Green, that's what you're supposed to be doing. 71% from 3. Gosh darn, Seth Curry going crazy. Ben Simmons, 9 points only. Okay, all right, he's got to get better, but he did put up 10 rebounds and 8 assists, which is, Ben Simmons games. We know he's not a shooter, so. All right. Anybody on the bench who's having some good contributions here off the bench? Shake Milton. That's kind of classic. We know this man's kind of up and coming, and he's been pretty good last season, and now he's carrying it over here. And then we got, who else we got? Dwight Howard's on the bench, 7 points. We saw him on the Lakers last season in the bubble. Not too much of an impact in some games. So, yeah, all right, this 76ers team is not too bad. I like this Seth Curry here. He's doing real good. Love to see that. All right. So 76ers beat the Magic 116-92. Rockets get their first win of the season. As I said, you know they've kind of won the trade so far. They're 1-2. James Harden, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Who knows if he's going to be here? He'll probably get traded right at the trade deadline. This Rockets team isn't that good. Let's see who this Rockets team has. Who do they have besides James Harden? They have anybody good? All right, so they still got Daniel House Jr., PJ Tucker, but he just scored 0 points in 32 minutes, even though he didn't take a shot. So, that's kind of his game. How's John Wall doing? 22 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds? He shot 40%, not the greatest, but, new team, coming off an injury. So, John Wall starting to slowly make some good contribution here. DeMarcus Cousins off the bench. 8 points, and then we have Eric Gordon off the bench, 17 points. So, all right, they've got some pieces here. They can make it work. Just some new guns here. John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins probably got to get the offense figured out a little bit. How to play with James Harden's not the easiest. So, all right, we can buy the Rockets a little bit. They got their first win, 122-119 over the Kings. Raptors finally get their first win of the season over the Knicks, so is that even a big win? Probably not. But they beat the Knicks 100-83. Pelicans beat the Thunder 113-80. Let's see how the Pelicans are doing because, with Zion, and they were in the bubble last season, not too great, but Steven Adams, I love to see that, 14 big points from him. Zion Williamson, only 12 points. He shot 66%, and he only played 17 minutes, so not a bad stat line there. Brandon Ingram, he's having a fantastic start of the season. 20 points here. He shot 30% from 3, but 50% overall. 7 rebounds to go along with those 20 points. So having himself a pretty good season here. Lonzo Ball, 16 points. Okay, and 9 assists and 8 rebounds. All right, Lonzo, that's what we're talking about. Step up, baby. They've got all the talent in the world here, and aren't they coached by Stan Van Gundy? So, they've got somebody as a head coach who has, coached high-caliber basketball in his career at one point. All right, so not bad. All right, we can buy this Pelicans team, definitely. Josh Hart off the bench, 12 points, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench also with 14 points. This is a pretty solid squad here. All right. Yeah, definitely watch out for the Pelicans this year. They're looking real good. Once they get kind of Zion Williamson fully incorporated into the offense, not only, he's really on minutes restriction still, only playing like less than 20 minutes. So once he gets, to 22 to 25 minutes, expect this man to make a real big impact here. Alrighty, and then the last game that was on last night, Suns beating the Jazz. Look at this Suns team, man. I love to see this. Devin Booker carrying over from last season, and so is Chris Paul. These last 2 seasons of Chris Paul when he was with the Thunder and now with the Suns, I think this is the best basketball I've ever seen Chris Paul play, really. So I love to see this. Suns at 4-1, looking real good. Let's look at these stats with the Suns. What do they got working with here? All right, Chris Paul, 11 points, 8 assists. I mean, that's kind of his game, classic. Devin Booker, 25 points, 7 assists. He shot 59%. That's pretty good. So, and then they got Jay Crowder, I should say, 16 points, and Mikal Bridges, 16 points as well. And then on the bench, Cameron Payne, 10 points, solid contribution there. And Cameron Johnson, the Cameron twins, both with 10 points off the bench. All right. This isn't that deep of a team, but, they got some nice players here. They got some solid players. And they got Frank Kaminsky coming off the bench. He doesn't play, but that's still a pretty good name there. From, I believe, Wisconsin. I think he's probably in his 3rd or 4th season here. But, nice, big, tall, big if you need him. All right. So the Suns get the win. They improved to 4-1. Alrighty, now let's go to our college football picks should we see if we like anything for the NBA real quick? Let's do this first. All right, let's see if we like anything with the NBA today. Big slate of games on. All right, so here we go. Memphis Grizzlies versus the Hornets. -4 for the Hornets. Two not great teams. Need to see more of them. Going to stay away from that one. Pistons. Oh, boy, do they suck me back in? I don't think so here. Ooh, Pistons +9 over the Celtics. Man, I want to take that, but what they've shown us so far this season, I wanted to like them, I wanted to buy into them, but they are not showing us anything so far. I think they've played 4 or 5 games already. So, gonna stay away from Pistons +9, even though I really am very tempted to take that. Ooh, 9 points. This Celtics team, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't both putting up 35 points, that team's not winning any games. So, all right. Pistons +9. We'll come back to that one. I may still take that. All right, Heat and Mavericks. Heat -1. Jimmy Butler, not sure if he's playing yet, so I'm going to stay away from it. Hawks, Nets -6.5. Not bad, but the way that Trae Young's playing for Atlanta, they could keep the game close. Probably stay away from that one as well. I may lean in favor of Atlanta +6.5. Lakers Spurs again. Lakers -5.5. Gonna stay away from this one. Second in a back-to-back. Stay away from that. Chicago in the Bucks. Bucks -14. I'm not gonna swallow that many points so far this season. Let's wait. A couple games in, 10 to 15 games. What else do we got? Wizards, Timberwolves. Can the Wizards get their first win? Well, you're only getting +1 point, so no great value there. I'm not going to buy this Wizards team until they string a couple of wins together, and until Russell Westbrook can get it under 4 turnovers a game, we have to stay away from it, unfortunately. Clippers, Jazz. Clippers -3.5. I love that. I love this. Yes, Clippers, they are absolutely bulldozing everybody. The one game that they got blown out, Kawhi didn't play, so they were a little shorthanded. The Jazz, they haven't been as good as consistent as they were in the bubble. This Clippers team, they're in a revenge season. It's no nonsense here, so we only have to swallow the 3.5. I think we like that, so that's going to be one of our picks here. Clippers -3.5. Suns, Nuggets, and the Suns are getting 4.5 here. There may be some player not playing. They're in a second of a back-to-back as well, so maybe Chris Paul sits out, so probably stay away from that. If everybody's playing full strength, then take definitely the Suns plus the 4.5, but this line, it's making me think that some player is going to take some load management here. And then the last game, Blazers -3.5 over the Warriors, and I think I may like this too. Blazers, they're decent. I think they're 3-2 so far through the first couple games of the season. This Warriors team, they really have to rely heavily on Steph Curry to put up at least 35 points, and then they need solid contributions from literally all their starters. And like I said, they've got some young starters, they've got some rookies on their squad, so I think we're going to take the Blazers -3.5 and the Clippers -3.5 here today for our NBA money maker. All right, now let's go to, we've got college bowl games, and like I said at the top of the show, we are going to do our moneymaker picks for the 2 playoff games today, because I think we can get some good value here. So the first game, number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Notre Dame, and it's Alabama -19.5, and we like it, folks. We'll swallow the 19.5 points. We just saw Notre Dame last week in their SEC championship game against, or the ACC championship game against Clemson, get absolutely blown out. The game was not competitive, and I think Clemson won by like 24 points or something. And Notre Dame should have been kicked out of the college playoffs just because of that loss. You just faced a top 4 team and you get absolutely obliterated. That's all we need to see. There's no reason why Notre Dame should have still been 4 and face Alabama here, because they're going to get blown out because Alabama's better than Clemson. So Notre Dame couldn't do anything against Clemson. They're not going to be able to do anything against Alabama. So Alabama swallowed the 19.5. Notre Dame's got no business being in the top 4. This is classic Notre Dame. Good against bad teams, and then when they have to face a, top team, they lose. I mean, that's why they've never made the college playoffs up until this point, and it took a pandemic, and putting them in the ACC for one season gets them, to the playoffs, even though they shouldn't have. Don't like Notre Dame in here. They get blown out. This is not a competitive game. They weren't competitive last week against Clemson, and Alabama's better. So Alabama -19.5. We'll take that. And then number 2, Clemson versus number 3, Ohio State. You got some big quarterbacks, Justin Fields versus, I'm blanking on Clemson's quarterback. Yeah, we all know Clemson's quarterback, the long blonde-haired kid who's going to be the first quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Everybody's fighting for him. So Clemson -7. We're going to take this as well. I'm not buying Justin Fields, folks. I'm not buying him. Even in his wins in the Ohio State, I think they've lost, or they haven't even lost a game yet. I think they've only played like 6 games. They've had a ton of games canceled. Clemson's played more games than Ohio State has. And the way that Justin Fields is playing, even though they've won all their games, there's multiple games where there's one game in particular against a pretty decent team where he had no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And then there's another game where he had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Yes, they still win that game, but he's turning it over. Not very good. Careless turnovers. Clemson has more games under their belt. Clemson has been here before. I know Ohio State has, but they always lose in the first round anyway if they get to the college football playoff. So we're going to take Clemson's. We're going to swallow the points. We trust Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields. He's turning it over too much, folks. So we'll swallow the 7 here for Clemson, and we'll swallow the 19.5 for Alabama. So once again, we're going to have an Alabama-Clemson college football championship game like every other season. So Clemson -7, Alabama -19.5. All right, now let's go to our main topic, our main bets, our main picks for Week 17 in the NFL. We like to do 6 picks. We break them down into 2 categories, 3 picks in each category. Our 2 categories are our lock section. These will 100% hit. You can bet whatever you want because you won't lose. These are locks, folks. They're locks for a reason. Bet whatever you want. Bet your entire house. We don't care. They will hit. And then our 99% guarantees. We feel very confident, but we can see maybe one thing going wrong that ruins the bet. So maybe take half of whatever you would bet on the locks and bet that on the 99%. 1 car in your driveway if you have 2. If you have 3 cars, maybe 1.5. Do some tires on the second car. So yeah, let's remind you what we did last week in our picks. 12/27. If you ever want to know what our picks are on the daily, go to takesbyfans.com, go to the daily picks tab, click on the date, and we'll show you our picks. So last week, our 3 locks, we had Bengals +7.5. Bingo. They won outright. Didn't even need the 7.5. And I said that was the best bet of the week, folks. So all right, and then Broncos +3.5. They lose by 3, but we caught that extra half hook, and we saw the line come down to 2.5 on game day, but we locked it in at 3.5 on Thursday when we make our picks. And then we had Eagles -2.5. We were wrong about that game. We were kind of buying too much into the Eagles defense, and the Cowboys offense surprised us for the first time. It was finally good for once. So we were wrong about Eagles -2.5. And then in our 99% guarantees, we had Titans +3.5. Once again, we were wrong about that. Ryan Tannehill in snow, check that off. That cannot happen. They cannot play in the snow. That is now noted. So we didn't hit the bet, but hey, we're learning for next week, and that's what you want. You want to not make the same mistake. So, and then our second pick in our 99% guarantees was Seahawks -1. We loved that all day. They beat the Rams. The Rams could not score a touchdown, and they win 20-9. Perfect -1. I mean, we could have took them -10. It would have been same result. And then we had Colts -1.5. We finally trusted the Colts, but we were vindicated in this game. So yeah, we lose the bet, but we're vindicated overall, and I'll take the vindication over the win of the bet. Phillip Rivers can't be trusted. We've been saying it all season. We finally buy into him, and he screws us. So, thank you, Phillip Rivers, for finally opening everybody's eyes and, seeing where we were right the entire season. So not too bad in our locks. Basically, almost hit them all. And the 99%. The 1% in each one of those bets. Titans +3.5. How would they fare on the road? That was the 1% doubt. And then the 1% doubt for the Colts game was Phillip Rivers not being good. So we called it perfectly. That's why they were the 99%. Alrighty, so let's refresh these lines. Let's get these up to the minute, and we'll give you our official picks. Alrighty, here we go. We'll start with our locks. Our first pick in our locks category is going to be Packers -5, folks. I'm not trusting Mitch Trubisky at all. He needs to win to get into the playoffs. I'm not trusting that man. And the Packers need to win to secure the number 1 seed. That's all you need to know. Aaron Rodgers is going to go 100% to lock up that number 1 seed. So what else do we need to talk about? It's -5. That's perfect. On the road, it doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers can play in the elements. It's cold in Chicago. It was just cold for his Titans game last week, and he played fantastic. What did he throw? 4 touchdowns? Something wild. So Bears here must win, doesn't matter. Mitch Trubisky still trash, turning it over. When the game was close against the Jags last week, he still threw a red zone interception. So yes, in the grand scheme of things, they blow him out in the second half, but the Jags were tanking. This Packers team is not tanking, folks. So they're playing legit. Even without Bakhtiari in the offensive line, the Packers should have no trouble. It's Mitch Trubisky, folks. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know about this game. Mitch Trubisky's playing. So we take Packers -5. Alrighty, let's go on to our next pick here. And we're going to go, we may sound crazy for this one, but we're going to go Rams +3.5. I can't trust this Cardinals offense. They only score when they go to DeAndre Hopkins, and the Rams have the perfect neutralizer for DeAndre Hopkins. So I can't see this Arizona offense putting up really that many points, and I get that the Rams have, no Jared Goff and no Cooper Kupp, and we just saw... Who did we just see on the defensive line? He's out with COVID as well. So, yes, they are, kind of missing some key players. Michael Brockers, as we see. So, yes, they are missing some key players, but they're at home. And I may sound crazy for saying this, but I'm kind of excited about the quarterback switch for the LA Rams. And I think it could actually help them out a little bit. There's something going on with this Rams offense that doesn't play consistently, that doesn't really put up that many points, even when they all play good. And we have to know, is it Jared Goff? Is there, will a quarterback change, spice up the offense a little bit? We've seen backup quarterbacks step up and, do very good. Gardner Minshew last season. We had Minshew Mania. He was winning some games for the Jags. We had Drew Lock last season. What did he win? Like 4 of the 5 games that he played. We had Teddy Bridgewater step up. He won all 5 of his games. We saw Nick Foles go start in the playoffs and win a championship. So we're kind of riding now. Those quarterbacks are good in that one season. They don't really translate over, as we see Gardner Minshew not playing so well. Well, he's playing well, but he's still on a bad team. Drew Lock's playing not well at all. Teddy Bridgewater got a new job, so that's kind of a different scenario. And Nick Foles is a backup to Mitch Trubisky, so you know how bad that is. So, yes, they don't transfer over from season to season, but in that one season that they play, they were good. So I'm kind of expecting this Rams quarterback to be good. We'll watch more of them tomorrow. We'll do it on our Saturday showcase show. We'll do real in-depth analysis on the Rams quarterback, but we've seen quarterbacks step up. I think the Rams need kind of a change of pace of Jared Goff. Let's see what this man can do. And, this is a big game. Like I said, I like the Rams defense better than I like the Cardinals offense. So I really don't think the Cardinals are going to put up too many points. Even with all the injuries and the COVID and everything like that for the Rams, I'm still going to buy into them, folks. I know I may sound crazy, but at home, +3.5, must-win game for both these teams. We'll take the 3.5 in the home team. All right, and then our last pick in our lock section is going to be Washington -2.5. Now, I know I've been big on this Eagles team since Jalen Hurts started, and I was kind of big on this Eagles team even before he started because I like the defense. But everything about this Eagles team that I liked has instantly been not good the last 2 weeks. Jalen Hurts is still looking good, but he's still a rookie, and he's still making rookie mistakes. He's, having sacks in the first quarter, and he's not scoring in the fourth quarter. That's pretty much the biggest red flag. He's not scoring in the fourth quarter. We've seen it time and time again. And, when he's scoring in the first, second, and third, and when they're down and it's crunch time in the fourth quarter, he can't do anything. So that's a big red flag for Jalen Hurts. Now, he should still be the starter, in my opinion, for Philadelphia going into next season. I still think I like him in this system better than Carson Wentz in this system. So I don't want to knock Jalen Hurts. He's still a rookie, and he got thrown in at the back half of the season where everybody else has had multiple games to get ready and get into game shape and all that. So we're not knocking Jalen Hurts for not scoring in the fourth quarter. It's just he doesn't score in the fourth quarter. So This Washington's defense is very, very good, top 5 in the league, and not, a fake top 5 like the Eagles were a couple weeks ago. So Washington, love everything about it. Now, if Alex Smith plays for offense, they probably don't put up as many points, but if they start Tim Heineke, which I really think they should, I think he's won over the locker room a little bit, and I kind of like the way he played down the stretch last week when, subbing in for Dwayne Haskins. So, love Washington here. You don't have to swallow that much. Washington win and in for the division. Eagles, they can just play spoiler. So I really just love Washington's defense here. Washington's defense against Jalen Hurts, I'm going to have to give the advantage to Washington's defense. And because of that, I don't see the Eagles putting up that many points in short fields for either Alex Smith or Tim Heineke for Washington. That's just going to be bingo bango all day. So we like Washington minus 2.5. Alrighty, so our 3 locks are Packers -5, Rams +3.5, and Washington -2.5. The odds are +582, so you throw $500 on that, and you're profiting $3,400, baby. $2,900 officially, you get the $500 back, but yeah, overall, you're walking away with $3,400 in your pocket, and shoot, folks, I'll take that. Shoot. So, yes, bet this. These are locks, folks. You will not lose, so you can bet the house. What is your house going for? 100, let me guess, like 145K, 200K. We'll start with 145K. So you mortgage your house, you put 145,000 on this game. You're walking away with $989,000. You can buy 9 houses for that. So mortgage your house on this, folks. These are they're locks. So bet 145,000, win 989,000. It's that simple, folks. Why is nobody else a millionaire? I don't know. Alrighty, now let's go to our 99% guarantee section. And our first pick in our 99% guarantees. This one came up a little bit, so we did lose a little bit of value here, but we're going to go Bucks -7. It was Bucks -6.5 when we looked yesterday, and it has climbed to Bucks -7. So people taking my advice out there, I applaud you. So Bucks -7, we would have liked it under the 7 hook, but we still like it. Bucks treating this like a must-win game, plus for that. Tom Brady played fantastic last week, even though, about the whole coaching situation. I get it, folks. Don't come at me. I get it. That's really why Tom Brady had success. But he got the reps. He got the rhythm. He got the momentum coming into this game. We're not going to knock the momentum. The momentum from last week for the Bucs was the biggest thing to take away. Atlanta, nothing left to play for. That huge gut-wrenching defeat against the Chiefs last week when they were in it the entire game, and chip shot field goal of 34 yards, and Younghoe Koo, who was automatic from 50 all season, misses it. That's gut-wrenching. Atlanta, I don't know if they're going to be able to get up and play for another road game at the end of the season where nothing really matters and everybody's just kind of auditioning. They don't know if they're going to be there next year because they have an interim head coach. So Atlanta, not really sure they're going to kind of be up to, play this game. The Bucs, they're ready to make a statement. They're ready to kind of, all right, this is kind of our last week to really kind of, fix our mistakes and see what's wrong and correct everything before, everything starts to matter, where it's, winning in and one and done in the playoffs. So I like the momentum that the Bucs are having. Still not big on their defense, but Atlanta, their offense isn't that much to worry about. It's decent at some points, but we're going to trust Tom Brady and all the weapons, and we'll swallow the 7. Alrighty, and man, oh man, I love it. I think I still like it. So here it is. We're going to take Bengals +13. Give us the points. The way the Bengals have been playing these last 3 weeks is absolutely fantastic, folks. They're building the winning culture. They just won outright last week on the road against the Texans, who put up 34 points. That Bengals team put up 37 points. That's the most impressive thing I think I've seen all season. So they're finally able to put up points without Joe Burrow. The defense, yes, they gave up 34 points, and it was kind of on the ground, but it came on to some 2 big runs. So, I get it. In the grand scheme of things, the Ravens do run the ball well, but just the way the Bengals have been playing, division game, Bengals at home, Ravens must win. So the Bengals would love nothing more than to send a division opponent out of the playoffs. So like the Bengals here, I think the Ravens win. I'm not saying the Bengals win. Last week I liked the Bengals to win, and I told you all that, but I'm not saying the Bengals are going to win this week. But I think the 13.5 or the 13 is just a little too much. So we'll take the 13 points here for the Bengals. Bengals, their defense keeps it close. They probably get gashed for big runs and they lose by maybe 10 or 12, but 13, we're going to take the risk. We'll take the points. Big division game, and I think the defense of the Bengals steps up big time here. So we'll take the Bengals plus 13. And then our last pick in our 99% guarantees, and once again, are we going to sound crazy for taking this? We're going to take Steelers plus 9 here. I get Big Ben's not playing, TJ Watt's not playing, Cam Hayward on the defensive end is not playing as well, the center is not playing. I get all of that, but you know, the strength of the Steelers defense, yes, the line is good, the defensive ends are good, the pass rushers are good, but so are the linebackers in the corners, and the safeties. So the defensive backs of the Steelers are still good, and so far they're still playing. The wide receivers of the Steelers are still playing. Mason Rudolph, or not Mason, is it Mason Rudolph? Rudolph is playing for the Steelers. Last time he played, he got smacked in the head with Myles Garrett's helmet. That's gonna be a huge narrative in this game. Big kind of revenge game for Mason Rudolph here. Now I know the Browns are winning in. The Steelers can still compete for the number 2 seed. They probably don't get it because they have to win and the Bills have to lose for that. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, division game, Cleveland needs to kind of win to stay in. Steelers know that. The defensive backs are going to pressure Baker Mayfield. And we just saw Baker Mayfield against the Jets defense last week get absolutely destroyed. Didn't put up that many points and lost 3 fumbles. You're telling me that the Jets first string is better than the Steelers, you know, kind of second string mixed in with some starters? I don't think so. So, yes, the Browns are at home. Yes, it's kind of a must-win for them. Yes, the Browns get all their wide receivers back, but I still can't trust Baker Mayfield. It's truly unfortunate. But last week, we can't trust Phillip Rivers, which we knew, and we can't trust Baker Mayfield. So, Steelers defense, even though, you know, they're missing some of their pass rushers, I still expect, you know, the second team and the starters that are still starting in the backfield for the Steelers defense still get it done. So I expect a closer game. Mason Rudolph can still get it done, folks. The man's no scrub. He's been a backup here for the Steelers for a couple of seasons now. Now he can't lead you to a Super Bowl, but he can step in a game here, and be game manager, and that's all I'm expecting. And plus, the Steelers receivers still need to keep in rhythm because they weren't good in the first half of that Colts game. The second half, they finally got their stuff together and started, you know, catching passes and not dropping them. So Steelers receivers are still going to be playing at 100%, still staying in rhythm for next week because they don't have a first round bye. So we like Steelers plus 9.5 here. We'll take the points. Alrighty, and then these odds are, so the picks are for our 99% guarantees are Bucks -7, Bengals plus 13, and Steelers plus 9.5. And the odds for this are plus 600. So you put $500 on this, and you're walking away with $3,500, profiting straight up $3,000, folks. Holy cow. $3,001.31. That's what you profit. That's looking good to me, folks. Now, you know, I obviously wouldn't say to mortgage your house and put it on this one, but maybe a car. What can you get for your car? What do you got? You know, 2017 Mercury something? Maybe like a 2014 Toyota Corolla. You can probably get, you know, $4,800 for that. So you put $4,800, you go mortgage your car, sell your car, pawn your car, and with $4,800, you're walking away with $33,612. Go buy a new car. You can trade in your 14 Toyota Corolla and get a new 2020 Tesla, baby. Go get a Tesla with $33,000. Shoot. All right. Yeah, that's looking good. $4,800 on that, folks. Looking good. Alrighty, so now the final thing we'll do this week is the last time we can do it, the NFL playoff machine, folks. It's so fun. Get all your fun in for the last week. You know, this is the last time you can do it because the playoffs start next week and you have to wait till next season. We know 15 weeks into it because I don't even know. Is the playoff machine even up on week 1? That'd be kind of crazy to do that. We may do that next year if it's up on week 1. Just literally go through the entire season and pick the winner. So, alrighty, so this is the playoff machine. We're going to go around, pick the winners of these games, and finally see how we think the official playoff picture is going to be. Then we'll go around and play around a little bit, see what happens if this team wins and this team loses, and see, you know, what it's going to take for some of these teams to get and secure a playoff spot. So, here it is. The playoff picture currently going into Week 17 is in the AFC, Chiefs at the 1 seed, Bills at the 2 seed, Steelers at the 3rd seed, Titans at the 4, Dolphins at the 5, Baltimore at the 6, and Cleveland at the 7. So we just see a big shakeup from last week. Dolphins were 7, Colts were 6, and the Browns were 5. So we see a total flip. Colts are out. Dolphins go all the way up to 5. Ravens go from out to 6. And the Cleveland goes from 5th to 7th. So a huge shakeup from last week to this week. And then in the NFC, we've got Green Bay at 1, Saints at 2, Seahawks at 3, Washington at 4, Tampa Bay at 5, Los Angeles Rams at 6, and the Bears at 7. Wild that the Bears are in the playoffs right now, folks. I can't believe it. All right, so let's go around, pick some winners, and this is going to be what we think the playoff picture is going to look like come the actual playoff time. So, and they start us off with the freaking fastball right off the rip. Dolphins and Bills, and oh boy, is this going to be a tough one for the Dolphins to pull out? Absolutely. I think the Bills are going all day for this game. They want to lock up that number 2 seed. I mean, currently, if the season ended today, would you rather face the Browns in the first round or the Ravens? I'm taking the Browns. You see, 2 faces 7. I'm not dropping down. I'm not risking dropping down to the 3rd seed to face the Baltimore Ravens, the first playoff game. So definitely the Bills are going to go balls to the wall in this game. The defense is going to play good. And we see just Josh Allen carving up defense after defense after defense. And it's kind of making me a little nervous. I know this Dolphins defense is number 1 in the league, but how are they going to go against Josh Allen, who's literally carving defenses up like Thanksgiving Day, folks? So this is real tough, folks. This is real tough to say. Man, oh man, they're going to do it to me like this on the first one? Couldn't even get any momentum building up for this game? Shoot. I hate to do it, but the Dolphins offense, it's good. It's good. We get Devontae Parker back. We get Jakeem Grant back. That's good. That's solid. And our defense should be able to, force some turnovers of Josh Allen. Oh man, this is going to be a close game, folks. If you gave me the Dolphins plus 3.5, we take, the Dolphins, but straight up, we're going to have to take the Bills, folks. It's unfortunate, but the way that Josh Allen's playing, it's just, it's nonsense. It's nonsensical of what this man's doing, so we're going to say the Bills win that game. All right, now let's go on. Jets, Patriots, not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. We're going to take the Patriots here at home. Bill Belichick's last game of the season probably gives it his all. Cam Newton's last game of the season, is he going to step up? Probably not. He hasn't stepped up all season, but it's the Jets. I don't even know if they want to win. I think Adam Gase is like, all right, finally, we're not tanking. I just proved it to y'all. Now we're going to go back to tanking. We're going to go back to tanking now. So we'll take the Patriots as the winner. Not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, most likely, unless there's some weird tiebreaker that goes like 8 deep and that game matters somehow. But we say Patriots beat the Jets. All right, Bengals and Ravens. I like the Bengals plus 13, but I think the Ravens win outright, so we got them winning. So with the Dolphins losing, they drop out right now, but we have to kind of do all the other games. All right, Steelers and the Browns, and I guess we say the Browns win the game. No Big Ben for the Steelers, but I don't really think that's going to hurt the Browns that much, folks. I really don't. I really think the game's going to be competitive, and still you can't trust Baker Mayfield. So we'll say Baker Mayfield pulls it out in the end, but, this is still going to be a close one. Alrighty, Dallas and the Giants. And folks, this Giants defense is no joke. They've been pretty solid these last, 5-6 weeks of the season. Daniel Jones getting a little bit healthier, but still not at 100%. And, we finally saw the Dallas offense be good for once, last week. Now, can they carry it over? They just had that COVID case today. How is that going to play out? And honestly, I think I like the Giants here, folks. I cannot trust this Dallas offense for really anything. And they're on the road here. They finally had their first game, as I said, last week, but I can't see it carrying over. And I like this Giants defense. They're holding teams to not a lot of points, which is absolutely what you want. So kind of crazy to say, but we're going to go the Giants here for the win. Alrighty, Vikings and Lions, and it's going to be hard, but we're going to go Vikings here. It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Vikings lost out on their playoffs hope last week by losing against the Bears, or against the Saints as well, and the Bears the last 2 weeks. So we had the Vikings winning, but it's not going to mean anything. All right, Falcons in the Bucks, and we got to go the Bucks here because they said they're playing for it, and a win keeps them at the 5th seed. They can't move up any, and they can't move down any. Or actually, they may still be able to win the division. Let's see what happens if the Saints lose, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, Titans and Texans. We're going to go Titans winning. Can't trust that Texans offense anymore, folks. I mean, everybody's fumbling in key situations. So we'll go Titans here, and they keep the 4th seed with the win. They win the division because of the win. Alrighty, Jags and Colts. Well, we know the Jags are tanking. They just lost to Mitch Trubisky, and I know Phillip Rivers is not good, but is he worse than Mitch Trubisky? I don't think he's that bad, but he's still not that great. So we're gonna give the Colts the win. And with that being said, that's pretty much going to lock up the Colts getting in the playoffs and the Dolphins not. How super unfortunate is that? Alrighty, Broncos and the Raiders, and we're going to go Broncos. I don't know if the Raiders are going to be up for this last game of the season, given how they lost last week and are officially out of the playoffs. So we'll give Drew Lock the win here. Chargers, Chiefs, and honestly, folks, even with the backups, even with Patrick Mahomes not playing, I still think I like the Chiefs here over the Chargers. No Keenan Allen for Justin Herbert. It's going to limit his game, and we know the Chargers, whoever they faced, it's going to be a close game. So Chiefs at home, I still think they win. They go to 15-1. They've already wrapped up the number 1 seed, so win or lose, it doesn't matter. Lose and have everybody else in this AFC win, it still doesn't matter. They have the number 1 seed wrapped up. Alrighty, then we go to Bears and Packers, and folks, I'm not giving the Bears the win here. Packers want to wrap up this number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers would love to shove a division opponent out of the playoffs, and I'm going to give the win to the Packers. I like them -5. I like them straight up. And look at this, folks, with a Bears loss, and we haven't gotten to Arizona yet. Arizona jumps to that 7th seed. Now we'll see what happens if Arizona loses and what happens at that point and who's got the tiebreaker there. But for right now, if the Bears lose, they're knocked out of the playoffs, and they need some help. Alrighty, then we go to Saints and Panthers, and the way that Drew Brees played this week isn't great, but the Panthers, they're not going to have Mike Davis, so the running attack is going to be non-existent now. They're going to go 3 deep for the running back. Teddy Bridgewater, he can definitely carry this Panthers team by himself with no running back, but, it's not going to translate to a win at the end of the day. It will translate to a close game, which has been literally all their games all season, but, not wins, because I think they've only got 4 so far this season. So we'll go Saints. Alrighty, Cardinals and Rams, and I said it. I like the Rams +3.5, and I honestly think I like them straight up, folks. Yes, I know all the pieces are missing for the Rams, but it's still something about this Cardinals team I cannot trust. We just saw them last week against the 49ers. That was a pathetic performance offensively, and this Rams defense is better than the 49ers defense, and the Rams are at home, and the Cardinals have to travel, and Kyler Murray's not 100%, so, the only way the Cardinals score is DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is banged up, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to be neutralized by Jalen Ramsey all game long. So, crazy to say, but we're going to put the Rams as the winner here, and let's see what happens with this Arizona spot. Now that the Bears lose and Arizona lose, let's see who gets the 7th seed. And it's going to go back to Chicago. So if the Bears win, they're in. If the Bears lose, then they're looking for the Rams to win as well. Alrighty, now we get Seahawks and 49ers. Seahawks and 49ers. Like the Seahawks here, their defense is stepping up big. In this 49ers offense, a little bit of a luck last week. I mean, the running game was absolutely fantastic, which made C.J. Beathard even more. But if that running game never gets going, how is that 49ers offense going to look? Well, I think it's going to look like the Rams offense against the Seahawks last week. 9 points probably, only field goals. So, like the Seahawks here to close out with the win. And they stay the 3rd seed. They don't move up because the Packers win. And then the last game, probably the most important game for the division, is Washington and the Eagles. And I like Washington here all day. This defense gets it done. Jalen Hurts, he can't play in the 4th quarter. It's unfortunate. Can't close out games. Can't come from behind. Can't keep a lead if you're not scoring in the 4th quarter. So we'll go Washington with the win. So how we think this week's going to shake out, this is going to be the final playoff picture. This is going to be the playoffs according to us for this week. In the AFC, the Chiefs keep the number 1 seed. The Bills keep the number 2 seed. The Steelers keep the number 3 seed. And the Titans keep the number 4 seed. And then for the wild card, Baltimore secures the 5th seed, Cleveland secures the 6th seed, and the Indianapolis Colts are the last team in the AFC at the number 7 seed. And then in the NFC, we've got Green Bay staying at 1, Saints staying at 2, Seattle staying at 3, Washington staying at 4, Tampa Bay staying at 5, LA, the Rams staying at 6, and the Bears staying at the 7. So we see no switch up here in the NFC, but a big shake up here in the AFC. All right, so now that we've predicted everything, let's kind of go around, click around, and play around and see what happens if, some different outcomes occur. So the first one we got to do, we got to take this off, folks. We can't be doing this now. Let's say the Dolphins beat the Bills this week. Let's see what happens. With everything else that we predicted, if the Dolphins win, then the AFC is going to stay the same going into Week 17 as it was, at the start of Week 17. So everything is the same if the Dolphins win and beat the Bills. All right, let's see what happens if the Bengals get upset by the Ravens get upset by the Bengals and everything else stays the same. And then we see the Colts get the 7th seed and the Bengals fall out. Let's see what happens if the Ravens lose and the Browns lose. Let's see what happens at that point. Then the Ravens get in. So the Browns are definitely needing a win here because they don't have the tiebreaker against the Baltimore Ravens. Alrighty, let's see what happens. Let's go back to Browns winning, Ravens winning, and Dolphins winning. And let's see what happens if the Jags upset the Colts. This should be obvious. Yes, the Colts don't get in. So, really, the only thing that matters this week is the Colts. If they win, then they have a chance to take a spot. If Dolphins lose against the Bills, if the Ravens lose against the Bengals, and if the Browns lose against the Steelers, then the Colts, with a win, would take any of their spots. All right, now let's see what happens if the Dolphins lose, the Bengals lose, and the Browns lose, but the Colts win. How does that shake out? Well, if all those 3 teams lose and the Colts win, then the Browns get knocked out. The Ravens go from 6 to 7. The Dolphins go from 5 to 6. And the Colts go from all the way outside to that number 5th seed. So there's still a lot of playoff, positioning to be had here. Teams can go from out to number 5. Teams can go from number 5 to out. Teams can go from 7 to 6 and from 6 to 7. So this is a big week here for these 4 teams. And I believe the Titans can still be eliminated from the playoffs. So let's see what happens if the Dolphins win, the Ravens win, the Browns win, the Colts win, but the Texans upset the Titans. Let's see if the Titans lose. Then the Titans fall all the way out of the division lead. They fall out of the wild card and are out of the playoffs. So the Browns, Ravens, Dolphins, and Colts can all be in this week. So really, between these 5 teams, Dolphins, Colts, Ravens, Browns, Titans, 4 of those teams will get in and 1 will not. And it's basically all depending on if the Colts win, then a spot's up for grabs if another team loses. That's all you really have to kind of be on the lookout for. So let's go back to our original thinking where the Dolphins go out of the playoffs and the Colts, Browns, and Ravens are all on here, and the Tennessee Titans. So let's go kind of reset it of how we think it's going to shake out. Now let's see what if the Titans can try and get a better seed, if the Steelers can try and get a better seed, and if the Buffalo Bills can get a better seed, which we know they can't. So let's see what happens here. If the Steelers beat the Browns and the Dolphins and the Bills lose to the Dolphins, then the Steelers can still secure that number 2 seed with a win and a Bills loss. Now let's see if the Titans won't be able to really move anywhere. They'll only be the 4th seed or the no seed. That's really it. Or they can secure a wild card spot, I believe. Let me see. Yes, okay, so the Titans can still secure a wild card spot if they lose and the Colts win, because then the Colts would have the tiebreaker over the Titans. All right. Let's reset this to back how we had it. And let's move over to the NFC now. Let's see. Can the Rams still win the division? I don't think they can, but let's see if they can. Let's have the Rams winning and the Seahawks losing to the 49ers. Let's see how this shakes out the NFC. And it has no bearing on it. So Seahawks win or lose, they're pretty much locked into that 3rd seed. So It's kind of big there for them, but they can still secure the number 1 seed. So now let's see what happens if the Bears upset the Packers. Now, the Saints can still get in the number 1 seed if they win and the Packers lose. And the Seahawks can still get the number 1 seed if the Packers lose and the Saints lose and they win. So that number 1 seed is still in play. Look for big games between Packers, Seahawks, and the Saints. They all want to win to have a chance at the number 1 seed, hoping their opponents lose. All right, let's reset this. All right, now let's see with the... We know the Cardinals can get in here, and the Rams can drop down to the 7th seed if they lose as well, but it looks like the Rams are guaranteed a playoff spot here. Unless, all right, so now we got a little bit of a shakeup here. The Rams can be totally knocked out of the playoffs if they lose and the Cardinals win and the Bears win. Then they'll have the 2 spots. So 3 teams in the NFC fighting for the last 2 spots, where 5 teams in the AFC are fighting for the last 4 spots. Last 3 spots, really, but we do still have that kind of AFC South still up for the division, or still up for grabs. Alrighty, let's go real wonky here, real wonky. Upsets everywhere. Dolphins win, Jets win, Bengals win, Steelers win. Well, let's say with the Cowboys. Oh, hang on, we didn't even do the Cowboys yet. So before we get real wonky and get real wild, let's go and talk about the NFC East real quickly. So let me try to reset this because I went wonky quickly. Here. All right, I think we've got it kind of set back as how we've had it. So now let's start talking about the NFC East. How can and who can get that last 4 seed for the division lead? All right, so first we're going to have a Washington loss because Washington currently owns their own fate here, winning in for them. But so what happens if Philadelphia upsets it? Then the Giants, the winner of that Giants-Dallas game gets in. So we think the Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys this week. So if Washington loses, the Giants go in that seed. But if the Dallas Cowboys beat the Giants, then the Cowboys are in that number 1 or in that number 4 seed if Washington loses, of course. As we see, let's see if Washington wins and the Cowboys win, then it still goes to Washington because they are in control. They are at the number 1 of the division so far. Alrighty, so, three-team race for the NFC East. That's why the Washington Eagles game is flexed to the late game, because everybody's got to be watching that game. I mean, it's classic. Alrighty, now let's get real wonky. Let's predict kind of all the upsets, some wildness that can happen, and see what, on, the craziest of days of everything going wrong in the league. Let's see what happens here. So we'll say, the Dolphins upset the Bills, the Jets beat the Patriots, the Bengals beat the Ravens, the Steelers beat the Browns. Let's keep the Giants here because, they're kind of a long shot too, but I do think they win the game. Vikings, Lions, let's switch it over to the Lions. Falcons beating the Bucks. Texans beating the Titans, Jags beating the Colts, Raiders beating the Broncos. We'll switch that over. Chargers beating the Chiefs. Not that that really matters. Bears upsetting the Packers. That'd be the biggest upset of the day, in my opinion. Carolina beating the Saints. We'll go. Should we keep the Rams here or switch over to the Cardinals? Let's have it a tie. Let's have it a freaking tie. Let's do that since, that's real wild. Seahawks and the 49ers. Let's go to the 49ers winning, and then the Eagles upset Washington. So a lot of wonkiness, a lot of teams that really shouldn't win. Let's see how it shakes out. So in the AFC, Chiefs at number 1, Steelers go up to the number 2, Bills fall to 3, Titans stay 4, Dolphins stay 5, Ravens stay 6, and Browns stay 7. So the only movement, if real wonkiness pursues in this league in this week, Steelers go from 3 to 2, and Bills go from 2 to 3. And in the NFC, Packers stay the 1 seed, Saints stay the 2 seed, Seahawks stay the 3 seed. We get the Giants moving up in the division, winning the 4th seed. Tampa stays the 5, Rams stay the 6, and the Bears are the new number 7 here. So this is what we could get here, folks. Could be crazy here. Not even that crazy. Not too much craziness, really. But and let's see what happens if every single game ends in a tie. Let's see what that happens. That's as wonky as you can get, I would say. Will anything happen if every single Week 17 game ends in a tie? Let's see what we get here. All right, Chiefs, nothing shakes up in the AFC and nothing shakes up in the NFC. Everything stays the same if every single game is a tie. So that's what we get. Alrighty, that is gonna do it for us today. We got some nice college football championship or playoff games on today. The one starts at 4:30, and I think the second one starts at 8. So hopefully our picks can make you some money. We're gonna go and enjoy those games today. Hopefully you do as well. And tomorrow we will come at you with a Saturday showcase show. We're gonna be looking at the Bengals quarterback the Bengals quarterback. No, not the Bengals quarterback. We're gonna look at little Tim Heineke. And we're going to look at the biggest quarterback question of all, the Rams quarterback. So we'll come at you with kind of two quarterbacks tomorrow in our Saturday showcase. And we'll also, go over stories and cover the NBA as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow live, noon Eastern, twitch.tv/takesbyfans. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow.